On this week's episode, we're going to talk about how to write 7 figures in January. Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's episode. I am Chad Owen, and I'm not going to say what I own or what I do because you know what? We
Finally.
just get flack all over. I
We
own
did it.
Retirement Realized Financial.
We almost did it.
Almost did it. But hey,
man.
I always say that because we do get new listeners all the time. I
Yeah.
know, of course, you can click in the link, you can see, but I will tell you, please click the like button if you like it. If you don't, like it anyway, because I'm going to help you this year, no doubt about it. And actually, just so you know, and just to feel really sorry for me, when you actually listen to this one, I'm going to be coming back at the very tail end of being in Europe for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I am excited. I want to help you get started off right. And being the first Monday of the year, I want to make sure you get this taken care of out of the start. You know what? Very rarely does the first person out of the gate not win the race when it's a sprint. When it's a marathon, of course, it's anybody's game. I saw this meme the other day that said my goals for 2022, and it showed this hurdler and runs, trips over the first one, tumbles, tries to make over the second one, can't make it over. Well, let's just put it this way. In this, there's no hurdles. It's not like every month has a hurdle. We will win this race. Slow, steady, always wins the race. When I did my Krav Maga, they would always say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. In other words, you'd have people out there that just try and throw everything as fast as they could, but the person that was steady and slow and moving as they needed to would always destroy their opponent. So ours is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And this will literally this year take off. And one of the best ways to do that is by hitting it out of the park in January.
Yeah. I would say for me, fast is smooth and fast is smooth and
Words of
smooth
wisdom
is super
from
fast.
Caleb. And you just botched it.
Yeah.
Remember what I said? If
almost
you're
had
going
a
to
good
try
line.
and sound witty,
Yeah.
you've got to do it smoothly. You can't hum, but
You literally were saying that earlier.
I just
Yeah.
said that. So if you're going to try and be smart, you've got to be smooth
I'll
with
try
it.
to fix that.
Yes.
But we are talking about how to write 7 figures in January. So and the reason I think this is so significant is that most people don't have a $12 million goal. Most of our listeners are trying to either get into the annuity space or get up to their first $3, $5, $8 million year. And obviously you have those superheroes out there that are doing into the 9
Everybody's
figures.
a superhero.
8
It
figures.
doesn't mean they're a superhero because you do tons of volume. There's still a superhero in my heart.
You pass out participation trophies?
No.
Sounded like it for a second.
When my son came home one time with a participation trophy, I'm like, no. I said, we get rid of that. But Dad, he said, son, we do not get a trophy for participating in life. It is what we do every single day, winning this race, running this race, getting our tail kicked, bouncing back up. That's what wins life. And so no
agree.
participation trophies. Absolutely not. And we got rid of it. I think we used it for target practice.
Did he shoot it?
I think so.
That's good.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, I noted
You
out.
now have a participation trophy with a guy holding his arm up like that. Okay.
Sometimes that's what it looks like when you participate, huh?
It is. Okay, go for it.
So I noted down 3 areas that I want to encourage you to get just ironed out, locked down as quickly as you can so that you can set yourself up to write 7 figures in the month of January. And the first one I said, lock down your process. Okay, I'm talking your calls.
We've talked about this for I've been talking about this well over a decade.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I noted here, one of the most detrimental things I see is agents that have no flow. They don't have a system. They don't have a process. They don't have a calendar. It's just random things come in, and then they react randomly to those things. And I think that it's a pretty detrimental thing to not know what you're bringing a client into.
Momentum cannot happen without flow. I mean, that really when it comes down to it. And for 2023, I was just writing down my list of things, places we want to go. So I'm writing every month places we're going to go. And I only have 4 months next year, 4 or 5 months, 4 months where we don't have something planned yet. But 2024 is going to be a little different. 2023, 2023. 2022, I took, I think 15 or 16 weeks off, but we had 3 really long trips. Like we had 2 for 3 weeks. We had 1 for 4 weeks. And I think what I'm going to do for 2023 is do a lot of vacations that are 10 days and under, because momentum is everything.
Yeah.
And I know there's a deal I lost in 2022 because I couldn't go back out and meet. They literally called me. It was big, $870,000. And I couldn't go. So I lost, $880, because there's $180,000 that he free looked. And it was a real weird circumstance. It was literally someone, when I went there, they were just enthusiastic and excited that they actually got to meet me, because they'd actually been listening to my radio show for many, many years. And they called me. I mean, I'm in London and I'm taking this call happily, because my clients get my cell phone number for a reason, and I will talk to them and I'll happily talk to them. But I could tell if I was there face to face, it would have been better. And so I got back and found out that they had free looked it, and it was just, you know how it goes sometimes. It is so rare. I maybe get 1 free look a year. Yeah. I mean, it's, if even that. But this next year, if I go a slower 10-day and under, I can keep that momentum going. When I came back from Alaska, I was gone for a month. I felt kind of like I had forgotten my phone script. Part of it's because I didn't want to come back. Like whatever that trip was, I just felt like I'm going to stay up here for a few months. Now that would never work with Leilani, but
no, it wouldn't.
You know, it's something about kids, loving them, wanting to be around them, you know, something about that.
Something along those lines.
But when I came back from Europe, I was gangbusters, gung-ho, ready to go. And I didn't miss a beat from making my calls to running my appointments. Something was different. And I think if for 2023, I can keep that to a minimum. Now, the key is that I need to make sure I can rest, because that's my biggest thing. I don't know how you guys are, but sometimes it takes me a day or two to even wind down before I'm in the vacation mode. And, you know, the process and the system, I'm going to beat this to death. And I'm so glad you picked this as the first topic for the year. People ask for leads. I want more leads. I want more leads. But they don't talk about refining the process of those leads. And this was why the industry average per case is $150,000 per case. And mine's 400.
Over 470, I think.
Over 470,000 per case. Why? It's a system and a process, because these are exact same leads that I use, that agents use. Now, don't put in the comments what lead system you use, because we protect those for our contracted agents and our people that are in our Pro Plus or higher for the Academy. Why? It's not fair that I developed these leads over 14, 15 years and people are paying for this information and then I just go give them out freely. But the process and the system is what allows me to more than triple the normal volume, is because I'm very systematic in what I'm talking about.
No, you're absolutely right. And the way that I kind of cleverly put it, if we're trying to be witty, right?
Let's see.
Was, if you get leads in, but you don't know what you're going to do with them, you're going to have a lower level of efficiency.
What is wrong with you?
I'm working through my coffee.
So,
I'm only halfway through this thing.
Well, I'll give you an example.
Next week's episode will be a little better.
So we got to go to the Indy 500 last year. And one of the cool things I got to drive one of those cars.
Right.
Okay. So I'm in a single car. I'm driving and I'm thinking, this is my little pea brain going on. Man, I'm keeping up with this professional driver, because in front of you'd have a professional driver that would pace you a little bit.
Sure.
But I thought, I'm getting up to 130 miles an hour. I'm thinking, I'm keeping up with this guy, no problem. Then we go on the double car. The double car is now you are a passenger in this professional driver. We get up to 180, 190 miles an hour, and I feel like I'm going to throw up because my guts literally are sticking to the side of the car in these turns.
That's crazy.
I had the same vehicle. Actually, I had a vehicle that could have went faster because they didn't have governors on them. I'm sorry, they had a governor at 130, and I had it all the way to the bottom. But you know what? I apologize. No, they didn't have governors on these. But I could not realize the full potential of that car.
So you weren't an expert in
I'm
it.
not an expert. And that guy gets in and he just floors it. I mean, from the start.
Right.
I'm like, wow.
He knew what he was going to do.
So let's pretend like that car is a lead. If you're a rookie driver, you're not going to know how to drive that lead. You're not.
Yeah.
But man, you get a professional in there and you watch them and you're going, dang, they're doing things I never even thought possible. But that client's responding and reacting differently than they did with me. Why? Because there's a flow.
Yeah.
And I know how to drive that lead. And I know agents get out there because we have this conversation. Well, I know how to handle that lead. I'm doing this. I'm floored. I'm keeping up with you. And then you watch the professional driver take a hold of it and you're going, God. Yeah. It's one of the most humbling moments I've ever had in my life because I really thought I was driving that Indy car to its fullest potential.
And then you saw somebody that did, and you realized.
I realized it, I saw it, and I felt it. That's the difference. Seeing is one thing. Being in the vehicle with him and feeling those G-forces, I am a peon in the racing world. He would have lapped me 15 times before I got through one lap. Now, that's an exaggeration, but when you watch, I used to do ride-alongs for years, and this is where I'd actually have agents. I mean, we can do ride-alongs now, but it's very expensive. Well, it's expensive not to do it. But for me to do a ride-along with any agent, you better be in my inner circle for 6 months consistently before I'll ever even entertain it. And you still have to pay for your hotel. You have to pay for your airfare. You have to pay for everything. I pay for the food, which often can more than equal the airfare. I was going to say,
and the food Chad provides is good stuff.
I'm telling you, we go to nice places and we eat as long as we have time. There's an agent I had, actually this happened a few times, where we had no food. I literally tell you, you need to bring bars with you or energy drinks because there are sometimes we are driving from appointment to appointment to appointment. And quite honestly, at that time frame, you have your hour between appointment, 20 minutes, you grab a bar, and you're grateful because I'll take a back-to-back appointments when I'm training an agent over food all day long.
Totally.
And there's some good food, but I want agents to experience that. But you need to be in inner circle for at least 6 months or longer. But that being said, they would always get out of the appointment with me and go, that seemed so smooth and so easy. It's because of a refined system and process.
You knew what you were going to bring that client into before you ever got there.
Yes.
You had your documents outlined. You knew in your mind what the flow of things. You knew how you were going to explain things.
Yep.
You knew how you were going to wrap things up at the end.
That's why our academy is all about, this is what you do during a phone call. This is what you do during the appointment process. This is what you do. You have my documents and handouts. You get to use everything I use. But once again, I had the documents and handouts, AKA car, right in front of me, and I did not know how to use it.
The other thing you do that doesn't, it's in the calendar, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not one of the things that we always recommend duplicating. It's interesting. It's one of the few things in your process that we don't always recommend duplicating, but I think a version of it is worth considering. So, Chad, you make calls on Mondays.
Yep.
You run appointments Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Yep.
And then you're training and doing pending business and things on Fridays. Well, that means that you could get a lead on a Tuesday and realistically not call it for 6 days until the following Monday. So there can be more lead rot in that system. But the beauty of something like that is that you know exactly when you're running appointments and when you're not, and you fit people into that schedule rather than a lead comes straight through to your inbox, you call them up, and now the client has all the control and all the leverage.
When I didn't have appointments back-to-back, or I didn't have the amount of, because I own 7 companies now, I don't have the free time that I used to have.
Right.
But if I'm an agent only, where I'm only running appointments, oh yeah, absolutely, I'd call on a Tuesday or Thursday when the lead would just come in. I would do that all day long, but now I just can't do that, nor do I want to really. I did last week. I actually called a couple times during the week because we're testing a new lead system, details to come. And the good news is we haven't had to spend a lot of money, but we've done a lot of development time, and I've already received 7 leads in 2 weeks.
Oh.
And that beats any internet lead system I have right now. And these are internet leads. And I've got one that was worth $2 million, over $2 million. I suspect because she's a little hesitant, she probably has $3 to $4 million. You can kind of tell when people aren't telling you the whole story, but she came out right away. I have $2 million in liquid funds that isn't doing anything. I have another $200,000 in an IRA that's not doing anything, and I need some help. But she's a sweet lady. She has family, and she's going to wait till after Christmas. So I'll call her on the 12th.
Yep.
And I'll let you know. But this is going to be a new system. I'm trying to change the industry. If you can't tell by now, I'm trying to change the industry. I'm trying to get internet leads for around $200, which right now the lowest is $250. If we need to do a scrub system, we might. I may not, because I don't care if they're scrubbed or not. I'm the lead scrubber. So I want to make sure I can get to them as quick as possible, not 2 days later when they're being scrubbed.
But when you do that, you still have times that you're willing to meet with people.
Yep.
It's not like you call a lead that you get on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then all of a sudden you're running an 8 o'clock appointment because the client said, I want to meet with you today, and you're throwing your whole schedule off to try and accommodate. You still have your system,
I have my
your
system.
process.
Yep.
You're locked in.
I don't run appointments on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
I don't run appointments on Friday. Well, I can't say don't. I probably last year for 2022, I think I probably did 4 or 5 appointments ever on a Friday. And it's probably because we had like Veterans Day on a Monday or whatever. So I knew I already had a shortened work week, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Even those I don't. I just look at it as a bonus.
Well,
but your system and process, you have to lay out everything methodically. You have to have your call, then you have to have your appointment, then you have to have your presentation, and then you have to have your follow-up on new business. I mean, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That segues us perfectly into the number 2 thing. So number 1, lock down your process. Number 2, get your leads coming in. This was something we talked about last year, 2022, in December. We talked about 3 things to really ramp up for 2023. We encouraged you to start looking into lead systems back then. Hopefully you did. And if you did, hopefully you've already got leads coming in. But if you do, make sure you got your process in place.
Never shut them off.
Yeah. Here's kind of the way that I put it. If you don't have passive marketing systems, meaning they're just operating in the background, then you need to get creative and build active marketing systems yourself. Yep. And I've seen all kinds of different things. I've talked with agents they'll go door knock, which is, to me,
can't
just
even imagine
another level of dedication to making it happen.
And I don't knock that at all.
Golly.
That is someone who is hungry.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to make sure it's hungry, not desperate.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to make sure there's a fine line between hungry and desperate.
Right. That's very true. But get creative with it. Think of some unique ways that you can get in front of more people, again, in an active format. Yep. Do great networking locally, things like that. And then number 3, study your product solutions in each of these 4 categories. Number 1, high guaranteed lifetime income. Number 2, increasing lifetime income. Number 3, accumulation, just protection and growth. And then number 4, legacy planning. And I think that if you've got a couple of products that you're presenting, hopefully they're the best solutions for these scenarios. If you're curious about that, reach out to me. I can kind of give you some ideas about what we've been recommending lately. And if it makes sense to work with us, then great. But again, high guaranteed lifetime income, increasing lifetime income, accumulation, and legacy planning. And notice on there, Chad, I didn't put SPIAs or MIGAs.
Why? Would
you
not?
Because typically there are fixed indexed annuities with income riders that are on par with SPIAs that will allow income as early as SPIAs without needing to annuitize. And then MIGAs, they change all the time. So it's like you can go study a MIGA today and it'll be different in 3 days.
I think I sold 1 MIGA last year, if even that. I don't even know if I did. The thing is, and somebody, well, you just want the higher bonus. Really? If I wanted to get the most out of commission, I would sell MIGA, 3-year MIGAs, and I would turn them over every 3 years.
Yep.
And I would make more commission that way. It's just, obviously depend on the MIGA, but the fact is I don't do that because when I do an indexed annuity with an income rider, I kill any future business for replacement because I've already told that product what it needs to do.
Giving them a lifetime benefit.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
you do that, that thing's locked away.
But remember, 2023, knock it out of the park. Make sure you're doing what you do. Get the system, the process. Make sure you're the most educated person that they've ever met when it comes to retirement, and you can provide them with the best product, with the best benefits, with the best company. That's what we need to do for 2023.
Yeah.
We want to make sure it's a year of the indexed annuity or fixed annuity. This is our year. We are going to shine above every other product. So hope this helps you guys. You have a great day, and of course, happy selling.